So let's uh, as part of previous class, we have talked about creation, correct? As part of virtual network creation, we have discussed about IP addresses, classes, class A, what are the ranges? In that ranges, what are all the public IPs? What are all the private IPs? Private IPs reference to you can use within the organization. Public IPs you need to use to communicate with outside world. Simple and elementary. Huh? And then we have talked about the values you could able to remember an easy manner of subnetting concept /24 if you get remember and increasing and decreasing of subnet value, your IPs also will get vary. But there is a calculation behind it, how the /24 is becoming 256. That's something you need to go through in your recordings or in your YouTube channel, wherever it's available for the basics to understand how the subnetting has to be calculated. Once after this discussion, what we have immediately done, we have gone through the virtual network creation as part of our requirement, right? So when I say the virtual network creation, we have seen by providing name to the virtual network creation as well as, and we have very next screen, we have given the, sorry, Chiranjeev, do you have any question? Okay. So as part of the virtual network creation, what we have seen, we have given name and region. Second screen, we have given IP address and subnet details. Third screen, we have talked about Bastion, DDoS, and firewall. And at the end, we have created the virtual network. As part of today's session, what we will do, we are going to talk about concepts behind the virtual network. What are the different kinds of a concept which we go through as part of your networking area. Clear? So when I say the network, so what have we just created as part of a previous session, that is your virtual network 01 we have created, correct? VNet 01. So it is only one customer, one engineer. Yes. Tell me, Chiranjeevi, are you trying to say something? Okay. I can't hear you folks. So hello, am I audible? Am I clear at least? My voice?
Yes, Surendra. You are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Venkat, for confirming. So we were just created one virtual network as part of our training session. But when it comes to real-time scenario, you might need to create n number of virtual network for n number of different requirement or different businesses or different projects. That is only doing by yourself and your team. Assume that same location, same region is using by multiple customers. Multiple people are using multiple virtual networks. There is a chance that other customer can use the same IP segment also because it's internal IPs, right? It can be used within the organization. So by default and by design, your virtual network, it can be hundreds and lakhs of and crores of and networks if you could create in a cloud environment. By default, all these virtual networks will behave as isolated between each other. Got my point? We'll see all these things practically as well. I will prove and I will show you how isolation works, why I'm saying isolation. right? What is meant by first point? You can have n number of VNets sitting side by side, same region from a same subscription, same customer, different tenant. You name it any of the manner, you can have n number of virtual networks. If it is same region or different region also, all these are virtual. All these are behaves as independent networks. It will not say that boss, I have other networks next to me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Chiranjeev, we really can't hear you anything. I don't know whether you are only speaking, but we can't hear you anything at all. So if something you have a questions, probably can you type it down in a WhatsApp
No,
chat?
no, actually.
No, no, your voice is not at all clear.
No, that's what I didn't talk,
Yes,
say
Chiranjeev.
anything. I'm just watching it. I'm on mute.
But I'm getting some noise. I thought it's your voice. Sorry. That's okay. That is out the first point. And second thing is connect to the internet. So by default, all your virtual machines, if you just log in, you'll be able to access the internet from all your virtual machines which you do create in Azure. That will be completely given by Microsoft to your virtual machines. Internet will be there by default. Nothing to, we need to configure it by the IP addresses. Your cloud service provider will give it to you as by default. All right. That is also we'll see practically. And third thing is communicate between Azure resources. So you need to, let's say we have talked about virtual machines, we have talked about storages, we are just now discussing about a networking, right? If the virtual machine want to communicate with a storage, generally how it will happen? Although those three resources are sitting at cloud environment, they doesn't know that they are from a cloud. Correct. Each service will behave as independent services. With this integration of Azure services using service endpoints, what will happen? You can integrate your virtual network to your services. In this case, example, I'm just giving a storage. You can integrate with other services called your databases, other services called your app services, which we're going to see in subsequent sessions, like Azure App Services, where you can enable this service endpoint and then integrate your Azure services. So that what will happen? The communication to your storage account, you can restrict only to your virtual network. That in turns will be only to the virtual machines which are created under the network only will have access to the respective Azure services. Right? I'm just taking you guys only on a theoretical front. Will all these things, whatever have been mentioned here, we're going to perform the practicals in this session only. Right? And next thing is connect to on-premises network. Let's say you are having Azure virtual machines in a cloud and you are sitting at an organization, your company or wherever you have been working, you to enable a trusted and secured connectivity between your organization. Let's say you're working in TCS today, from a TCS floor to the cloud services which is there in, let's say, in Singapore or Korea or Australia, how you can have a secured tunnel between these two physical data centers or physical locations. So we have point to site. So point to site is nothing but the VPN, like most of you guys been using today, right? You've been using company given laptops and you have been connecting to the VPNs today, correct? Why you are connecting to the VPNs? Any idea?
To connect organization network.
That's correct. So you are sitting at your home using your own internet, and to be in the organization network, to access organization resources securely, you will connect to the VPN. In Azure, that VPN solution will call it as a point to site VPN. You might be using some Pulse Secures FortiGate related or Cisco AnyConnect. These are all the VPN solutions you might be using it today, correct? But in Azure, those VPNs who will create in your company, your security team will configure those VPNs and they will install it in your machines and you will be connecting it. And when it comes to Azure, you are the one who is going to create the VPNs as well. That is for a point to site. Site to site, as I mentioned, two different locations, two different regions to communicate over the internet securely. Express route is similar to the site to site, but it is a dedicated tunnel. It will not go to the internet. It's a dedicated tunnel between your data center to Azure data center using express route. Filtering network traffic. So network virtual appliances, if a security team want to go with their dedicated products like your Palo Alto firewalls, FortiGate firewalls, Cisco firewalls, they can go with the virtual appliances. If they want to control using Azure provided solutions or like inbound and outbound traffic, they will use network security groups. And routing when it comes to BGP routes, they will be using at your on-premises data centers or in their virtual appliances. In Azure, we have a similar solution called route table. Route table will help you out to decide where your next hop should land and where it can be controlled if it is needed. Let's say if I'm typing google.com in my computer, whether it is allowed or not, where I need to go and check whether it is allowed list or not. To send the traffic to the respective endpoint, we'll use the route tables. So very critical concepts of these appliances as well as route tables. And next thing is connect to the virtual networks. In the first point, what we have discussed, we talked about isolation. It means by default, each virtual network is isolated between each other. They cannot communicate between each other. Right? If at all, assume that if the VNet 01 want to communicate with VNet 02, right? In such cases, what will happen? We have a solution called peering so that you could establish the communication between the virtual networks. That technology will call it as a peering. Till now it is clear, guys. Like it is just kind of an theoretical information. If you guys are okay, we'll jump into the practicals of all these points. Shall we go ahead and see?
Yes, Surendra.
So how we can test now is that let me open MS Paint or draw.io. I can go. Okay. So what I will do, I'm gonna create one region. This can be within a region. So assume that we are at Korea. Korea Central is the region. I'm gonna use my VNet 01 I created with the IP address of 10.100.0.0/24. Here what I will do, VNet 02 I will create. I will use class B for the sake of understanding. 16.0.0/24. And as per to prove that, if you see in this example, I am selected a region called Korea Central, correct? Under the Korea Central is one physical data center or one physical region of Microsoft Azure. I created two virtual networks, VNet 01 and VNet 02. Right? What is mean by isolation, guys? Also, these two networks are created at the same location. They should not get communicate, correct? What I will do to prove this, I'm going to create two virtual machines using VNet 01, using VNet 02, and I will try to communicate between each other. Let's see whether they can connect or not. Is that clear, guys, what we're going to do now as part of an isolation? Any questions? Okay. So if you see now, one set of requirement that is VNet 01, we are already having it. That is there in a Korea Central. You can see 10.100.0.0, which is already created. So to test this, we need a virtual machine, right, to log in and test the communication. So I'm going to create one virtual machine. Either ways, if you go to the create new resource, select Windows Server 2019. So I'm just selecting my VNet RG, my existing resource group. I am naming this virtual machine as VM01. It's a Korea Central. The rest all details I'm just leaving as it is. The size available also. Korea Central has a free tires, and why it is not allowing them? These are bigger sizes. Free trials are day by day creating a problems. Let me see where I can select a different region then. Instead of Korea Central, let me select it Korea South. Here also these sizes are not available. So do you guys have created any other virtual machines in the Korea Central? No, right? In the subscription? Because it's limited to use only 4 cores for each free trial. Yeah, I could see none of them was been used. Let me see which locations we could use for our testing. VM-01. West UST it is saying free services eligible. Let me see whether it will allow me to pick up the size. I selected D2V V5 2 core and 8 GB. That is fine. Which location we are creating, guys, in this scenario? We are using West US2. Okay. Next is this. Next is networking. Now I want to select my existing VNet. Why it is not showing my existing VNet, guys? In this example, any idea? Why it is not showing? Okay, that's fine. So existing virtual network 01, we created in Korea Central. And now we are trying to create a virtual machine in West US2. So these are two different physical regions. You cannot use a virtual network which is created in a different region. So do remember, your virtual machine, your network is bound to a region. You cannot select with across regions. Okay, so as we already know how to create our virtual networks, so I'm just creating here VNet 01. So in this case, I will use 10.100.0.0/24. Subnet is dev snet 10.100.0.0/27. So I'm just creating a subnet. So which we already discussed as part of our previous session, guys. It's not like something newly we have been discussing. So we just created VNet01 and created one subnet. We'll talk about in subsequent sessions about public IP interfaces inbounds in further networking sessions. For now, the intention is I'm creating a virtual machine using VNet01. A review. Click on create. So what I'm just doing now, I just created VNet01. And using VNet01, we are creating VM01. Till now, able to follow, guys, what we're trying to do? Any questions? Okay, no problem. So similarly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more virtual machine using same VNet RG. VM name is VM-02. Location is West US2. This is where at least it is allowing me to select my free trials. That is the reason behind it. So when it comes to virtual network, I don't want to use my existing VNet01. In this case, I want to create VNet02 with the IP segment of whatever the IP segment. So 110.100 we already use. Let me use class B also 172.16.25.0, or else it will start from 16 to 31. So I can give 172.20.0.0 also. I can give it. This time I will name this subnet as UAT subnet. So 172.20.0.0/24. So 24 is total IP. So 27 is 32 number of IP addresses for my UAT subnet. So slightly I need to change my diagram. So let me create this YM02 and then we'll change the diagram as well. So what is the location, guys, we need to use here?
SGS.
Yeah, so this is Korea Central African given. So this typically the region is West US 2. So now what we have done under this, we created VM01 using VM-01 using an IP address of 10.100.0.4. So how I'm confident that my virtual machine 01 will get an IP of 0.4? Why? Any idea?
Before the previous 023 will be go on default VMs, right?
That's absolutely correct. So in Azure subnetting, when you do the subnetting in Azure, so your first 4 IPs will be reserved and last 1 IP will be reserved by Azure. So when I mean first 4 IPs means starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. These 4 IPs will be reserved. The first available or scoped IP address is 0.4. So we can see that as well. So now I created VM02 as well with the IP 172.20.0.4. Right? This is the expected behavior because your IP address subnet in the respective subnet, your IPs will be reserved by Azure. So VM01 are able to see here 10.100, 0.4. Similarly, if I navigate to the VM02, IP address is 172.20.0.4. Correct? Now, to test the isolation, so now I could see VM01 also in West US2, VM02 also West US2, but two different virtual networks. We'll see how these VMs will behave when they want to communicate between each other. So I'm just opening MSTSC remote desktop connection shortcut command, that is MSTSC. So I'm just testing my public IP of my VM01, and then I'm just providing my username. So one thing you guys need to remember, by default, your virtual machines in Azure, especially your Windows virtual machines in Azure, for security purposes, the ping response, although the server can communicate, you cannot reach or can test the server via the ping command because your ping response by default is in a disabled state. Clear, guys? We'll enable it for our testing purpose. So I'm just navigating to the command prompt, type host name. So it will tell me which virtual machine I am into. I will type IP config. It will let me know what is the IP address is assigned to my virtual machine. Right, 10.100, 0.4. Now, as I mentioned, your ping is disabled by default. You can change that under firewall settings if it is needed. For our training purpose, we need a ping response to be enabled so that then only I could show you that whether the communication between the networks, whether it's disabled, enabled, how to enable if it's not there. All those things we can test using ping only. So if the ping itself is not working condition, it will be a bit confusion for you folks. So that is the reason what I am doing now. I'm just enabling that ping response for your virtual machine. So where you can enable that is firewall configuration. Shortcut command is firewall.cpl. If you just hit the command in run our command, it will open the firewall configurations. Click on the advanced settings. Click on the inbound rules. If you just type F into this window, it is just loading, guys. So you just hit on F. It will take you to the file and printer IP version 4 echo request. So let me expand this line. Are you able to see here the first one, file and printer sharing echo request? If you see here, there is no green color tick mark. It means it is disabled state. You just need to right click on this rule, click on enable. So that what will happen if someone try to ping this machine, if there is a connection, it will give a response. Otherwise, what will happen? Although there is a connectivity, you will not get a ping response. This is by design in Azure Windows virtual machines as part of security constraint. They have made this. Now what I will do, I will log into my VM02 as well. I'm connecting RDP to my VM02.
Which IP will connect to the public IP or private IP?
No, for now we are using public IPs only to communicate because from my location we have to discuss about VPN technologies. So currently I'm using public IPs. If you see 20.230, you will find under which segment? It's a class A public IP.
Yeah, but we are select. I mean, for the particular VM, we have issued like 172 dot.
Those are private IPs.
Okay. At what
So
point we use the private IPs? Can we use
private
the private
IPs,
IP to connect to RDP?
yes, that is the design actually. We'll come to
Okay.
that stage actually.
Okay.
So for now, because we don't have the VPN technologies as discussed as of today, that's why we are using publicly connecting from internet. But when it comes to real-time scenario, your question is absolutely valid question that you should never use a public IPs. So when I'm saying you should never use a public IP, there should be an alternative, right? So by that time, you should have a VPN technology, at least point to site to site, or express route settings to be our VPN setup to be done. We'll discuss that in next couple of sessions, how to create a VPN. On that day, I will not use the public IP to connect. I will use 10.100 series IP or 172.20 segment IP to connect my workloads in Azure. In RDP itself, I will not use the public IP. We'll come to that stage. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my IP. Private IP is 172.20.0.4. So before that, what I will do, I will enable the ping response to this machine, that is firewall.cpl. Click on advanced settings. Click on inbound rules. Just go to the F. It will give you file and printer echo request. Right click, enable. That's it. Now what we will test, guys, we'll try to communicate between each other. So how you can test the communication between two virtual machines, two instances, two servers? What are all the ways we have to test the communication between two? It can be a servers, it can be whatever it is, devices. You just type the command called ping. My destination is 10.100 0.4. Right? Am I getting a response here? No, right? I am getting timed out. It means I cannot communicate with my virtual machine. Is that clear?
Can we try ping with the public IP? Hello?
Public IPs will not give a response to ping actually. Chiranjeevi, able to hear me? Similarly, I am trying to ping from a VM01 to VM02, that is 172.20.0.4. So this is what I am trying to explain theoretically, that if you see now, I am having two virtual networks, VNet 01, VNet 02 under same West US2, right? But if you just see now, we tried communicating between each other. We should not communicate. That is nothing but isolation. Right? This is what I just want to give you a practical scenario, that I created two VMs using two different networks. By default, what is the design? You cannot connect between each other. Is it clear, guys?
Meaning, like, can we use the same set what you use for VM01 for VM02? say here like use class say A IP addresses, right? 10.100. Can we use the same set here for VNet 2 as well?
Yes, you can use. Yeah. But it will give us a warning that boss, you already used this, but technically, yes. Because these are all isolated, no? Unless you don't want to enable the communication, you will be not having any problems. Okay. Chiranjeevi, it seems to be have dropped. So I was just saying that technically you can assign same set of IP addresses to the multiple virtual networks. Technically it is possible. In a real time, we will not do it. When it comes to technology, yes, it will allow you to give same set of IP addresses, but you are good enough when these IPs or these networks are isolated. But if at all you want to enable the communication between each other, you cannot do it because these are all same IP address and it will get a conflict.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Others able to follow? Venkat, Siva, Harsha.
Yes, Surendra. We're able to follow.
That sounds great. Next point we want to discuss is I am saying by default your virtual machines have an internet. So how will you test the your virtual machine have an internet or not?
Ping any website.
Yeah, that's a very basic thing. Just type ping. Shall I ping to google.com? Am I getting a response? 0%
Okay.
loss.
Is it similar to I mean Linux boxes as well, or
Yes,
only
yes,
for
it's same.
Windows hosts?
It is same. No difference.
Same. Okay. Okay.
Similarly, I can get onto the VM02 also if you want to have an access. Ping google.com. Here am I getting a response? Yes, I am getting a response here as well. So that is the second point I just wish like to convey that by default your virtual machines has a connectivity to the internet. Now,
Is it a secured connection? When you say like it's open to internet,
mhm.
are we doing any what's that? Any policies where we are defining like for because when you say internet was by default, where
I
the policies
understand your
were.
question. Yes, I understand your question. We have something called filter network trafficking as an subject, like a topic which we are going to discuss probably
Okay.
next session only. Network
Okay.
security groups. So network security groups is nothing but it's a software firewall for each virtual machines where you can control your both inbound traffic. It means something which is coming inside your virtual machine, something which is going outside your virtual machine. You can control it by defining your rules. On a
Okay.
very granular level, you can control that. We'll have dedicated session. So by the time you will get an understanding that how this internet also is working by default. Why default I'm
Okay.
communicating internet, also you will get understand there. Okay. Maximum by next session only. The concept which we'll discuss. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it clear, folks?
Yeah. Yeah. Clear.
Third thing is, yeah. Third thing is now assume that in my companies with some reasons, I want to communicate between this VNet 01 to VNet 02. By default, it will not communicate isolated. That is the technology. Assume that I need a reachability between my VM01 or VM02 or VNet 01 to VNet 02. I want to have my own connectivity. Just assume that this is a requirement. In such cases, we can enable the communication between these two, we'll call that technology as peering. What we will call it as peering. This is a very common word. It's not kind of a fancier technology word. Very basic English terminology. The peer means is next to you are communicating VNet 01 to VNet 02. It is not only 01 and 02. Any virtual networks by default isolated. If at all you want to enable the communication, what you need to perform here? You need to perform peering. Shall we go ahead and do that and check the connectivity? Yeah. For
Yes.
that, you need to navigate to the VNet 01 or VNet 02, whichever you feel comfortable. Let's say I'm just going to the VNet 01. It's in Korea Central 1. I don't need it. Let me delete this virtual network first in place. I need a virtual network that is VNet-01. So it is not there. If you see here, VNet 01 is then West US2. To do the peering, right, you need to click on something called here peerings in your Azure virtual networks. So before in that, so let me give some more settings which I need to give an explanation. So this is the IP segments I have assigned to my virtual network. You could see that in a address spaces as well, same thing has been there. Assume that you are running out of the IP addresses, right? You want to add other set of an IP addresses. Technically, you can add them later point in time also. But only thing is, if at all you have any peerings is added here, you need to remove them and then add an IP addresses, which are all additional IPs you want, and then come back and add the peerings. Now, first let's get started. How to configure a peering? It's pretty much easy. There is no need to confuse at all. Just click on add a peering. You can give a name to your peering. You can give any name. There is no rules for it. You can give a test, you can give a training, you can give AZT27, it will take. For a meaningful naming convention, what I'm doing here, VNet 01 to VNet 02. This is the naming I was just being used here. Is it make sense? Yeah. So by
Yes.
default, our requirement is to allow the connectivity only from 1 to 2. That is what the settings is referring as allow. If at all 1 to 2 you don't want to communicate, you can block it. Third option, you could see something called gateway, virtual network gateway. We'll get to discuss about VPN and gateway technologies. By the time we'll come back to this screen and once again I'll explain what does it will do. For now, you just ignore. Just give a name to peering, that is a VNet 01 peering name. Same screen, you can also do the peering of VNet 02. So you no need to go back to the 02 and do the peering. So in any one of the screen, you can perform the both the operation. So in this case, my destination is VNet 02. The source is 02, destination is 01, correct? Now I am on VNet 01 screen. So first peering connection I named as 01 to 02. My destination network is 02. So that's why I named as a 02 to 01. So this peering can be done between the subscriptions also in a real-time scenario. Assume that you have VNet 01 subscription 01, VNet 02 in a subscription 02. So cross subscription, cross tenant, cross organization, everything is possible when it comes to peering. So in our scenario, we have only one free trial under which I have VNet 01 already I selected. My destination VNet is VNet 02. That's it, guys, to perform a peering. You just need to be there on a source network, select the destination network from a same subscription, different subscription, doesn't matter. You just select it, give a proper names. You can give any name, but give a meaningful name by seeing the name, you can understand, and then click on add a connection. If you see while adding the connection, why it is added two peering connections, guys, here? Any idea? One connection is refers to VNet01. Other connection refers to VNet02. If I go to the VNet02 pairing, if I do the refresh my screen, are you able to see something called pairing here? 02 to 01. But am I not came to this 02 and do the settings? I had done it on 01 itself by establishing a pairing between two networks. Is it clear, guys, what we have just done?
Yes.
Any
Uh,
questions?
uh, Surya, is it a bi-direction communication or like unidirection?
It's a bi-direction. You don't have any limitations
It's just like
actually.
cluster, right? It's just like a clustering, right? Clustering two VMs, right?
We cannot compare with the clustering as a technology, Chiranjeevi, because clusters refers to the individual VMs. Here we are doing individual networks, entire networks. So tomorrow, in this example, I am having only one VM, correct? That is VM01. In a real-time scenario, this network 01 can have 200 virtual machines.
Mm-hmm.
Network 2 can have only 50 virtual machines, but these 250 can communicate between each other because we enable the pairing. There is no
At the network
VM
level.
level of
Okay.
clustering here. And
Okay.
there are network to network layer.
Okay. Understood. Because like I'm just comparing like database cluster
Understand?
application clustering,
I
right?
got.
Okay.
That's why I just cleared the doubt as do not
Okay.
compare with the cluster, because
Okay.
cluster is you are referring within the network multiple VMs.
Right. Okay.
And when we are doing peering means we are trying to communicate between two different networks altogether.
Okay.
It means,
Understood.
yeah. Guys, are others able to follow? Venkat, Harsha, Siva?
Yeah, yeah, yes, Ram.
Now, what we will do now as part of, we have done the pairing now. So we'll go back to the screen and check the connection. Still it is updating. I will refresh my screen. Are you able to see what is the status now? It is
Connected.
connected status. Now what I will do, I will log into my VM01. Which VM I am into? This is my VM02. So I will test the connection. So if you see now earlier, this ping got failed, correct? We established the connectivity. Let's see that whether I'm able to ping now. Am I getting a response over the private IP when I'm able to communicate with my 02201, right? Similarly, I will go to VM01 and try to ping 02 VM, that is 172.20.0.4. So earlier it is not pinging. Now I'm able to pinging. I'm getting a response here. So how we enable the communication now? Using virtual network peering. Is it clear, guys? Any questions so far? This is a very common thing, guys. You will do it when it comes to real time. You should be know this definition. So very basic question also you will get from an interviewer if at all you are facing it. Okay. Is it clear, guys? Any questions with the pairing? Okay. Now I'm going to create one more network, one more virtual machine altogether in a different region, not from West to US. I'm going to create my VM03. Instead of using West US, I will try to use West Europe, where my free services are available. West Europe is nothing but it's a Europe country, Netherlands, I believe. So from West to US, somewhere in the physical region of an United States, and I'm going to create one virtual machine 03 in West Europe. So why I'm creating in West Europe, guys? To show you, we can also do a pairing not only within a region between a networks, you can do the pairing between the two different regions as well. So this is the region I'm referring to. This region I'm just naming as West Europe. Here what I will do, I'm gonna create a VNet 03 with IP segment of 192.168.0.0/24, and I'm gonna create an VM hyphen 03, and this IP address to VM03, what I will get 192.168.0.4. So what I will do now, for the sake of explaining, from a 022, right, from a 022 03, I want to communicate. But if you see, it is in a West US, this is in a Europe country. We can do the peering here also. What the way we have performed as a peering, it is same as a normal peering. But when it comes to a terminology, we'll call this peering name, right, as a global peering. Right? What we will call as a global peering? It means where you can establish the communication between the two virtual networks which belongs to two different set of physical regions. Is it clear, guys, what is mean by global peering?
Yes, sir.
Shall we go ahead and do that? So I'm just creating VM03 in a West Europe country. Azure admin my username. Networking. So instead here, what I will do in West Europe, I'm going to create VNet 03. So network can be created as an individual resource. That is what we see in the previous session. In this classes, I'm not creating VNet as separately as because of some time constraint. So I'm creating on the fly. That is also possible like a resource group. You can create a resource group and select it. If not, you can create a resource group as part of other resource creation and proceed the similar fashion. Right, guys? So now 192.168.0.0/24. This is, let's say, production subnet. 192.168.0.0/27. That's it. I'm just creating now VM03. So the way to perform the operations of a peering, right? Global peering and normal peering, there is no difference. So activity part, it is same only, similar activity only, the way you could perform. But the naming, the technology name will get differ. If you perform the connectivity between the networks within a region, we'll call it as the peering. If you're enabling the communication between two different virtual networks, which belongs to two different physical regions, we'll call them as a global peering. Am I clear, guys? Now what I will do, I will go back to my virtual network 02. I will click on VNet 02. So what is the name I given here? It's a 0 instead of 03. I forget to give a 3 here. It's a kind of typo here. This is a West Europe, you could notice. The network name is 03, but Unfortunately, given 0 only. I forgot to give 3, but we'll use the same. I'm clicking on peering. So I was just giving a name that you can have 100 plus number of peering when it comes to number of peering connectivities. VNet 03 to 03. So it is 02, right? I am at 02 now. 02 to 03. Similarly, in a destination name, I will give VNet 03 to VNet 02. Here, VNet 0 I will select. Click on add. That's it. So doing a peering operation is same only for normal peering and a global peering. There is no difference. But the technology name only will differ. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Chiranjeev, please tell me.
Yeah. See, like, when you do the peering across like the two different VNet, right? So can you pick a set of IP, say for example, like VNet 01 range, right? Like set of subnets, and like say around 256 IP can be connected, right? 256 connections. Can we make it say for example, like I can pick a range, and I can create a peering here.
So while doing the peering, it has to be done using entire VNet only. We don't have an option to give a only set of
partial
IP.
partial
Partial one.
IPs selection. Okay.
That is not possible with the peering, but we can satisfy your requirement using NSGs, network security groups. Whereas
Okay,
I
you can
have a
restrict it.
peering between these two, I can define a rule from a source to destination. You block the connectivity. Only allow this. That part we will do.
Fine,
You can
fine.
control the communication, but with the peering, we don't have an option.
Okay, but we can restrict. Okay, okay, got it.
Yes, yes, we can restrict. Yes. Answer is yes. So it's a 02. So now I am in a 02 VM, correct? If I see a host name, I am 02 and I want to communicate with my 03. What is the 03 IP? 192.168.0.4. I have done the peering. I'm trying to communicate. It is failing. Any idea why it's been failing?
We need to enable the service firewall.
Correct. That is the correct answer. We need to make sure to enable the firewall rule to get the connectivity to get a response. So what is the other way around to test it? Shall I do the RDP from this machine to other machine using a private IP? That is 192.168.0.4. Am I getting a response? So it is prompted for my credentials. It means I'm able to communicate from my 02 to 03. Why ping is not responded? Because I didn't enable the ping response in my firewall rule. So is it clear that I am communicating now from a West Europe VNet 022, sorry, West Europe VNet 03 to West US VNet 02. Is it clear, guys, with the topics called peering and a global peering, what we have done?
Yes, Ramya.
So it's kind of pretty easy concepts, but the interview will make you confused, but whatever you are understanding, stick with that. Make sure you are clear with the concept. When you get a chance, try to explain pretty much clearly. Okay. So I'm stopping all the servers so that I will not be get billed for it. All right. I'm stopping all the VMs. So in tomorrow's session, what we will do, we'll see how you can integrate your virtual network from a different set of services. And then we'll also talk about network security groups. And if time permits, we'll land into the VPN technologies of your point to site, and express route. Okay. Okay, guys, that's it for today, and we'll connect back by tomorrow, same time. Any questions before winding off today's session?
No, sir.
No, Surendra.
Okay. If there is no questions, let's close the session for today. We'll catch up by tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.